defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 16th day of July, 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, not too busy roads now since schools are out. But those of you who are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a happy belated birthday, whichever is applicable, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shoutouts. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. And again, this morning, we want to give a big shout out to our colleague at Radio Cayman, Mr. Joel Wilson. Big shout out to him. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and of course, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy and sometimes dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being your host. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open, and you can call us on our toll-free number, which is provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number 925-3261. And the voice that you will hear at the other end of the phone line is none other than Miss BBC, Miss Basilia. So let us look first at the birthday shout-outs. Again, they brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, extremely proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers, and you should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. So who's celebrating a birthday today? Miss Melissa McTaggart Thompson celebrating a birthday today. Also, Mr. Gary Jackson celebrating a birthday today as well. Melissa McTaggart, Gary Jackson celebrating a birthday today. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please provide that information to us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a birthday shout out as well. Okay, this person says, oh, that's for Miss Basilia, about her gospel music that she plays. She's developing a huge cadre of fans, on that early show in the morning as well. And, Radio Cayman, despite what people may say or may think, Radio Cayman has many, many loyal listeners. And irrespective of those other radio stations that may come on board, our loyal listeners always remain with us right here on Radio Cayman, your favorite radio station, the people's radio station as well. So let's first of all look at what's in our local news today, some of the headlines in our local newspapers, online, of course. One headline is Venezuelan pilot speaks out over 6-year ordeal in Cayman prison. And I believe that this has something to do with an extradition to the United States. We'll see what we can glean on that. Also, a press release that I shared with you yesterday on Talk Today in the afternoon. Non-Caymanian fishing ban proposed by Cabinet. And you would have heard on the news this morning as well some of the audio, and the minister who has responsibility for the subject, Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, speaking to it on her news segment. Also in the news, Cayman female squash players sweep medals at the Island Games. So Island Games, we're doing quite well there. Trial date set for Tariq Crawford after not guilty plea over fatal crash. So a trial date has been set for him. And here's another concerning story. Local photographers feeling quote unquote lost over the closure of Catholic churches. And I'll try to share that one with you because that's important. Catholic Church Photo Studio, an institution in the Cayman Islands. And this is an article written by Miss Shanda Gallego. And it reads, after nearly 4 decades, after nearly 40 years, Catholic Church Photo Center and Gallery at Sunset House has closed its doors, prompting a deluge of heartfelt messages from the local photographer community. Church, a well-known photographer, marine biologist, and environmental advocate, established the center based at Sunset House in 1988. The Compass was made aware of the closure and closeout sale last month by local photographer and associate of church Courtney Platt. It's terrible, sad, Platt said, adding, I always thought she would find a manager who would continue running the operations after she retired. It's a great loss. He noted that he would regularly try to patronize her store. I always preferred to purchase my big purchases there rather than from New York, which her prices were comparable to. That is what Mr. Platt said. On a personal level, he said, we had mutual respect for one another. I did get to go diving with her on rare occasions and enjoyed that as well. Her first book on underwater photography was the first book I ever bought on that subject back in the late 1970s. But it is not just a personal disappointment to lose the store, Platt said, noting the closure is now a setback for the local photographer community. Before Cather opened the photo center, the only place on the island that you could buy equipment was Cayman Camera. They were out of business. They went out of business. After that, Cathy was the only business in town, and now we don't have that. It leaves us buying and shipping equipment down from the States. Well, what this article fails to mention also that Mr. Otto Hurlston also had a photography store and he sold other artifacts and things Caymanian. Mr. Otto Hurlston, right there almost to the southwest of Paradise Restaurant, or what was Paradise Restaurant, Mr. Otto Hurlston as well. I'm going to scan this article to see. Okay, this is important. He goes on to say that it leaves a hole for somebody to fill. It's not an easy thing to do because it's a huge investment. It's too big of a risk, Platt said. Okay, I'm sure that there are companies within the Cayman Islands who can afford to take such a risk. And maybe some young enterprising Caymanian can seek funding. Because if there is such a demand in the Cayman Islands, then maybe it should continue. We know now that cameras have been, the traditional camera has been replaced with the camera on your cell phone, so that has made a difference. But I wonder whether or not persons like Mr. Darwin Ebanks, who also is involved in photography and has a studio, whether or not this can sort of raise his profile if he wanted to raise it as well. I am sure that at some point in time, someone will step into the void and fill that void as well. It says there that the photo center specializing in underwater photography was a cornerstone for the community, offering many local creatives a wide range of camera equipment and accessories, training and workshops. Still trying to see. Why don't we'll take our commercial break and I can scan this article a little bit more to see exactly why Miss Cathy Church decided to close her store as well. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which
Alexander Selvin Eden, 1888 through 1985. Alexander Selvin Eden was a dedicated family man. He and his wife, Sarah Leonie Nee West, had 7 children, and their father made sure that they had the best education available. He loved to work the land and also raised livestock, providing steady employment for others. As a young man, he worked overseas on the construction of the Florida East Coast Railway, returning home after World War I. His major contribution was filling the void in transportation of goods and passengers between Georgetown and Bordentown, which he did with a horse-drawn carriage for 35 years in all kinds of conditions. The government called upon him for many duties in his district, including police service, tax collection, operation of the cattle dip to control ticks, service as foreman of roadworks, and as pound keeper, keeping stray cattle until their owners reclaimed them, and the maintenance of telephone lines. He also served as a member of the Assembly of Justices and Vestry.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage, with tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, but after the 8 o'clock news, around about 8:15, we should have in the studio with us the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and Miss Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. They will be in the studio with us. Meanwhile, earlier I was... here we have a birthday, so let me share this first. So Mr. Bunny Miles, celebrating his birthday tomorrow, the 17th of July. He will be 80 years of age tomorrow. It's a very special birthday, iconic, and I've been asked to send birthday greetings to him today, coming from his wife, Mary, children, Ruthann, Chris, Donna, and Tiffany, grandchildren, Aaron, Taj, Tori, Omari, Kai, and Nathan, and from other family members and friends. Also, we want to send birthday greetings to Miss Gwyneth Forbes. Mrs. Gwyneth Forbes, coming from Mary and Bunny Miles and family. Her birthday was yesterday. So Miss Mary Forbes, a happy belated birthday to you. And of course, those birthday greetings are coming from Mary and Bunny Miles and family as well. Well, I'm going to say this. Somebody will probably get a laugh out of it. But almost wherever you see Miss Mary, you almost always see Miss Gwyneth as well when it comes to events and things of that nature. They're very tight-knit, very close. And, of course, the whole Tropical Garden family is very close as well, and while Miss Gwyneth may not live in Tropical Gardens, they're a close-knit group of people. They take care of each other. They look out for each other as well. So we're more than happy to wish happy 80th birthday when it comes tomorrow for Mr. Bunny Miles, and a happy belated birthday to Miss Gwyneth Forbes as well. So let's look back at the article and see the headlines in our local newspapers. And this article has to do, well, first of all, let's go back to the Catholic Church one. We hope that someone will take up the slack. In reading the article, as far as the printing side of things, it seems as if a company will be coming online fairly soon that will at least take up the slack there. I'm hoping that some enterprising Cayman will, if they don't have the funding, seek the funding, and that some well-to-do, wealthy Caymanian may give them the seed money to open up an establishment similar to what Catholic Church offered. I do know that on a personal level, that Miss Catholic Church lost her husband. His name was Herb Raphael, and she lost him. The article doesn't give any reason whatsoever as to why the store, why she decided to close it down. Herb Raphael was also an avid cyclist in Cayman, and I always looked forward on a Sunday morning meeting him at Jack's gas station in Old Man Bay, along with his ophthalmologist, cycling buddy. I won't call names, but they were extremely close, extremely tight, and we'd always have some very, very good, friendly conversations at Jack's gas station in Old Man Bay as well. So the story very quickly on the Venezuelan pilot who is here, and it appears as if while he was cleared of money laundering and smuggling after arriving in Cayman in 2019 at the controls of a private jet that carried gold and cash through the islands. He has chosen, which he has the legal right to do so, to fight extradition to the United States, where he was named in an indictment in Miami alleging his involvement in a plot to smuggle 100 kilos of cocaine into South Florida in March of 2006. He claims to know nothing about the allegations and says he was not in the U.S. at the time. Well, when it comes to smuggling, I'm not sure whether or not his presence in the U.S. has anything to do with the charges that were brought. He could have been involved in it and not necessarily be in the U.S. And you know how U.S. law is. They try to reach as far across the oceans as they can. So he now is complaining about his stay in the Cayman Islands, being incarcerated, awaiting a final decision on his extradition. Of course, like I said, he has chosen to fight that extradition. What we cannot expect the Cayman Islands now to release him, even if he has a failing health condition. We can't expect the Cayman Islands to release him if there are legal proceedings that are pending and if they have an obligation, an international obligation to hold him as long as the courts decide that should be the case. Then we have to live up to our obligations. 6 years is a long period of time, but we know how sometimes the wheels of justice just move extremely slowly, very slowly, churn very slowly. And like I said earlier, he has a right, if he feels that he should not be extradited to the United States, to fight that extradition as well. Folks, we have reached the top of the hour, the 8 o'clock news. When we return, we should have guests in the studio, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
And the time on Radio Cayman is just about 8 o'clock, and this time signal is brought to you by Foster's.
Change is in the bag at Foster's. We've taken an important step in our commitment to a cleaner, greener Cayman by removing single-use plastic bags from our checkouts. Bag for better with our durable, cost-effective, reusable bags, thoughtfully designed to help reduce plastic waste and protect the natural beauty of our islands. By choosing reusable and using it often, you become part of the bigger picture, a community-driven effort to reduce waste and care for our environment. Every small choice adds up to something greater. So bring your bags back and we'll make a real impact together. Foster's, better because we care.
We are Radio Cayman.
Covering Cayman Bright, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
The government has approved the development of a new legal framework. It would ban non-Caymanians from harvesting fish, conch, lobster, and other marine species. Limited exceptions would allow regulated catch and release fishing under a licensing system. The moves are part of a broader effort to protect marine biodiversity and the future of local fishing traditions. Health, Environment, and Sustainability Minister, the Honourable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, says finding the right balance is critical.
Our marine ecosystems are under increasing pressure from overfishing and climate change. By introducing additional restrictions, we are actually taking a proactive step to manage our marine ecosystem responsibly. And these measures will help maintain the health of our reefs and our marine life, safeguarding both our natural resources for this and future generations.
While the changes are still early in the legislative process, Minister Ebanks-Wilkes says consultations are being planned.
And while the legislative drafting work is underway, Government will then consult with the various stakeholders, and this will be a part of developing the implementation and operational plans for the new regulations, including the enforcement elements, as well as managing the visitor access through controlled catch and release opportunities. And this is really a representation of the beginning of a legislative process. No changes have been implemented at this time.
Ministry Chief Officer Mrs. Tamar Ebanks outlines the next steps in the process.
Our team will now begin the important work of developing and implementing these protections in a way that both safeguard our marine environment and respects Caymanian fishing traditions. We'll be working closely with the community to ensure these measures achieve the right balance for our future.
The ministry is expected to begin its consultation soon, with any final regulations subject to further review, and of course there will need to be legislative approval. In court news, Mario McWoolley-Ebanks appeared before summary court Tuesday, entering guilty pleas to a long list of charges for offences committed between 2022 and 2025. Radio Cayman's Jevi Ebanks has the details.
Mario McWoolley-Ebanks' admissions included multiple counts of dangerous driving, driving while disqualified, driving while uninsured, leaving the scene of an accident, driving without roadworthiness certificates, careless driving, consuming and possessing ganja with intent to supply, resisting arrest, and using a fake driver's license with the intent to defraud. He also failed to provide multiple urine samples when required and caused property damage. Mr. Ebanks entered not guilty pleas to 2 charges related to possessing criminal property and possessing ganja with intent to supply. He remains on remand at HMP Northward, pending sentencing. Jevi Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
That is your latest news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now to the BBC for a check of headlines around the world.
BBC World News, I'm Tom Dewsbury. The Israeli military says it's carried out a drone strike on the Syrian military's headquarters in Damascus, hitting the entrance gate. The IDF said the attack followed Syrian military actions against Druze civilians in southern Syria. Over the last 2 days, the IDF's launched airstrikes against Syrian security forces sent to stop sectarian clashes in the predominantly Druze Suwaida province. At least 20 people have been killed at a chaotic crush at an Israeli and US-run food distribution centre in Gaza. Many died from suffocation. The GHF blamed armed agitators for the surge. Gazan officials say tear gas was fired at starving people. The Israeli military has established a new corridor cutting southern Gaza's Han Yunis in 2. Israel says it'll increase pressure on Hamas. Critics say it's a further sign that Israel wants to permanently displace the people of Gaza. The King of Thailand has revoked appointments and awards for 81 Buddhist monks as part of a widening sex scandal. A woman's been arrested and accused of having sex with a number of monks, recording the encounters to extort money from them. The Ethiopian security services say they've arrested 82 members of the Islamic State group. They said those arrested had been recruited to carry out terrorist activities. A row has broken out in Germany over the southern states of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg taking off-peak school summer holidays every year. Officials in northern states have complained they'd also like to benefit from non-peak prices. The organisers of a golf tournament in Japan have stopped play after a bear was spotted on the course. The day-long event was cancelled for safety reasons. And the Chinese firm behind the hugely popular Labubu dolls says it expects profits to increase by 350% for the first half of this year. The elf-like sharp-toothed toys have been marketed to adults via social media. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. News is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Britcay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Thank you so very much for staying with us right here on Radio Cayman 89.9. It is now time for another weather update. The temperature right about now is 85 degrees, but it already feels like 94 degrees with humidity at 76%. A weak ridge of high pressure will continue to dominate the weather pattern across the Northwest Caribbean through the next few days, maintaining light winds and seas. Residual moisture is forecast to move across our area today, allowing for some afternoon showers as Saharan dust continues to dissipate. Radar imagery shows few showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Today, expect partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures are expected to rise to the low 90s with a heat index near 107 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be smooth with wave heights less than 2 feet. In our tides today, expect a high tide this afternoon at 2:15 and a low tide tonight at 8:09. Sunset later today will be at 7:05 and sunrise tomorrow morning at 5:57. The outlook is for a slight increased chance in cloudiness and showers from tomorrow afternoon as a tropical wave drifts across the Western Caribbean. And that is it for your weather update. It is 8:10 and a half right here on Radio Cayman 89.9.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Are you feeling overwhelmed, sad, stressed out, or suicidal and need support? Call 1-800-534-6463. K-Mind, Mental Health Helpline. It's okay to ask for help. K-Mind Mental Health Helpline, available from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's free and confidential support and guidance on your emotional and psychological health.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Let us take a look at what's happening on our roads this morning. I know the traffic is a little bit better in the mornings since school is officially out for the summer holidays, but we still have a little bit of backup on some roads, so let's take a look. So let's start with my favorite road. I'm always picking on Crew Road because even when school is out, traffic is just always backing up. So if you are traveling towards or if you are on Crew Road, expect some delays. Not sure how long the delays will last for because it's steady traffic, steady bumper to bumper traffic. So a very good morning to all those in that vicinity. I hope you get where you're going on time. And if you're already late, not to worry. It's better to get there safe and late than not to reach at all right? For those who are traveling on West Bay Road in the vicinity of the Ritz, free flowing traffic in both directions. Bumper to bumper traffic coming from Huldah Avenue into the C&B roundabout. And heading on over to the East-West Arterial Road. Free flowing traffic coming from the east as well. Not much traffic on Shedden Road or Edward Street at this time, and just about the same on Owen Roberts Drive. And if you're heading towards the Butterfield roundabout, you may experience some delays if you're coming off the Esterly Tibbetts Highway or North Sound Road, but traffic is flowing pretty smoothly in and around the roundabout. And that is it for your traffic update at this time, brought to you today by Subway. Thank you, Subway.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Coca-Cola is available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have one of my guests in the studio with me so far this morning. You heard Miss BC, Miss Basilia, Barnaby Cuff talking about the roads this morning and, less traffic because school is out. in the U.S., there are some states where the first week of August, school resumes, so they have early summers as well. Ours don't start until the last part of July, but some places soon will be starting back as well. Well, who do we have in the studio this morning? None other than the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Kenneth Bryan. Mr. Bryan, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be back on, and good morning to all of our amazing listening audience here on Radio Cayman. Whether you're listening via the radio or online on YouTube, it's a pleasure to be with you this morning. Today, I'm going to be joined a little bit later on with my colleague, the Honorable Deputy Speaker and Representative for Georgetown West, Ms. Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, just to go over a few things happening in the community, as well as mainly to talk to the public. Not always we have to be on the show to speak about something specific, but to always be present and be available publicly to talk about what is transpiring. As you know, it's summertime, so the kids are out. Hopefully they're staying focused and having fun, but being responsible at the same time. Some of them probably are at work experience, and for those who are and maybe listening in their mom's or dad's car on the way to work, I want to say I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work, particularly those who are Caymanian. We're depending on you too.
And summer camp as well.
As well.
There's several summer camps taking place.
So, we're hoping that they're all doing well, and we're trying not to be too heavy on the political front. As you heard in the last sitting of the House, we had a very large layout of questions for the government, which caused a spew of news from minimum wage to the NICE program to many other things. And the next sitting of the House is in September. We haven't been given a date yet, but I'm assuming that it's going to be more likely to be at the end of September. So we have the rest of July, August, and some parts of September where there will not be much political development. The only recent thing that we probably have not spoken about here on the radio thus far is this new announcement that has been released that the Minister for Environment, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes, suggesting that the Cabinet will be considering in the future legislation to mandate that only Caymanians can be allowed to fishing off our shorelines or in our waters. I don't know the full details. Unfortunately, I had to read it from the news myself. I think, and for those who are listening probably in the Cabinet office, I think all details of any announcements or press releases should go automatically to each individual MP. I think sometimes I feel quite sad that I have to go searching for the information. But I'll leave that one there. Hopefully somebody is in a position that is listening, because sometimes things happen in government, and obviously our elected, our constituents expect us to know what's going on. And we try our best to keep up to date with as much things as possible, but sometimes the media gets it before every other MP, and I think that's kind of disheartening. I think they should let all MPs know when something is developing. So hopefully somebody is listening and will adjust that to make sure that we all get it via email as soon as they're ready for announcement.
Okay, if I could ask a question in relation to that, how advantageous would it be, let's say for instance, if the other members of Parliament, rather than waiting for changes to take place during the committee stage of a bill, to be able to have early input, like you've spoken about, being made aware of what's taking place, sharing maybe the press release with you, and then parliamentarians having an early input as opposed to waiting until it comes in. It could save some time, but it may mean that the information that you have earlier, there may be more information that you get later on as well. That could be. But would that help?
That would definitely help. Actually, it is encouraged, whether there is political maturity and respect for one another, to have preliminary discussions before you get to Parliament is within question. And it's really up to either the Honourable Premier or the individual minister or member of cabinet that will be bringing any parliamentary business. So, for example, an amendment to a bill, a brand new bill, a press statement, a policy decision. And sometimes you do have where the official government will ask the official opposition, do you have any thoughts on this? This is what we're doing. We'd like to let you know. And it reduces any animosity on the floor of the House, so you can get the opportunity to digest, do research, and come from it from a perspective of mature discussion, so you can have a unanimous position on the floor of the House. Now, in the Commonwealth parliamentary process, normally you would have, before any legislation gets to Parliament, you would have probably gone through at least 3-stage committee adjustments to any legislation before it goes to its final stage of voting.
Okay.
And that's normally where you will filter out any nuances, any differences. But in Cayman, we do all of our committee stages all in one sitting of the House. Some in the UK, there'll be weeks, potentially sometimes even months, before you go to the last stage where you will agree to the bill altogether. So we do things quite fast in our Parliament. So you don't get a lot of time outside of the required 28-day release to the public, and that's for everybody. It's not really for the members of Parliament only. But that's for the government of the day to bring that up, and vice versa. It's not only on the government but also on the opposition. So, for example, if I'm bringing a motion to Parliament to suggest something, it would be the responsible thing for me to call up the government and say, listen, I'm bringing forward this a motion. I would like your support. Is there any concerns that you may have for whether you would support it or not? So it's a little bit of politics playing there, and sometimes they don't want your involvement or your assistance because they have the numbers to pass it. So it's about a responsible, mature way of dealing with things. And I don't have any reason to believe at this point that they wouldn't want that, but I can't say that there's been much parliamentary business thus far to see whether or not they would be not forthcoming with discussions on any matters coming before Parliament. Mr. Connor, I know that we're going to probably go to a quick break, but one of the things
I have about 5 minutes.
Perfect. There's one thing I want to speak about today, and I think it's been on the lips of everybody thus far, including the Honourable Minister Miles, whose responsibility is Caymanian employment and immigration, and that is work for Caymanians. I've been doing some rounds in the employment area. As we know, it's slow season with tourism. Construction seeming to starting to slow down now as well. You know that we've had some major projects that have been completed within the last 6 months. So work is what you call in the construction field drying up, with not a lot of major projects coming online. And as you would assume, such as the audience will also assume, that you need a certain amount of workforce for these major developments. And we're not going to get into the question about, whether there should be these developments. We're talking about the labor component of it right now. And as these projects come to a close and a completion, then there's going to be a gap in working opportunities. Obviously, in the best case scenario is, get rid of the work permit holders and focus on your Caymanians in an ideal world. And I suspect that that's what the Honourable Minister Miles and the government is trying to do with its amendments and more enforcement with the labour market immigration and immigration agencies. But I am concerned whereby persons on work permit will obviously been granted work permits for a period of time, whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, And the stoppage of these projects don't fall in line with exactly when their work permit is finished. So there's going to be gaps where the market will be saturated with workers once construction comes to a close, particularly with major projects. And that delicate balance of how much work is available, and this is in for the skilled workers, plumbers, masons, carpenters, steelmen, all the other things within the development framework. I'm worried that the market is going to be saturated, and the people who normally get pushed out first is the Caymanian, because the talk is that the employer will say, well, I have to find work for this person because they're on work permit, while the Caymanian gets pushed aside. And as you notice that there was a number of projects on West Bay Road that have come to completion. They're just doing the finishing work. Some of the other major ones are in that third quarter stage where all the heavy lifting is done. They're going into fit outs and stuff like that. And I'm starting to hear on the ground that a lot of the labor, low skilled, even carpenter, steel work, all the steel work is finished, and there's no more work coming online that everybody knows about. You know, right now there's a sentiment of anti-development, which it comes from a good place. We don't want to go too fast, but also we have to recognize that the loss of job opportunities for Caymanians, and the ideal situation is to make sure the Caymanians come first. But while they balance that, there may be a gap in employment opportunities, and this is why I'm so concerned about why the government wouldn't have introduced the NICE program, even if it was just for a year full time, while you manage the labor market and the immigration market, because the word on the street now is work is starting to dry up. And that concerns me, because when there's not enough work, that means that people don't have opportunities to feed their families. And when people get in those stressful situations, other things start to happen.
So do you believe that it is quite possible that we won't have a NICE program this summer?
I haven't had any indications to that. We've had, brief statements on public radio where we were just monitoring the minister. On the floor of the House, he outright said, the program was no good. I don't think he probably thought that through when he made the statement, because he then later on came on the radio to say that they may still try to do at the Christmas time, but looking for the budget funding. Yeah. But between now and Christmas, you're talking about four or 5 months. There's still work needs to be done, and the NICE program isn't only for the development or construction field. That is for people in other skill sets as well. So we saw the NICE program year round as a stopgap opportunity where you can level up and level down, meaning if you have at any one particular point in the labor market, 800 people unemployed, or it's only 300, you can level up and level down, because it's not concreted into a year program, because you could be into it. And this would help, particularly as I looked at people who are coming out of prison, or people who are, on substance abuse but trying to get themselves back on their feet. Usually when they come out of things like a Caribbean haven, they need to find work. And if they don't find work, they go through the stresses of I can't feed myself and all that. And then the pressures of life start to come on them, and chance of recidivism comes back up again. So I'm a bit concerned about the labor market. It's good that we're going to have more of a strong enforcement arm about the labor market, but I'm not sure if anybody's really assessing the current labor market. There's more structured ones, and I'll talk about it when we get back, but there's room for concern.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. For those of you who are just joining us, of course, the voice is quite distinct, so you should not be making a mistake in terms of who the person behind the voice. But if you do, we have in the studio with us the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and we will be joined later by the Deputy Speaker, Honourable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, we have now been joined by Miss Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. Prior to that, you heard the voice of Deputy Leader, Mr. Kenneth Bryan. Miss McGaw-Lumsden, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How are you? Thank you for having us.
I'm good, thanks.
I'm becoming
for
a regular.
Yourselves available. Yes. That's what it's all about.
And she just love that confidence. She's actually a proper politician. Yeah, Mr. Connor, before we went to the break, we were just talking about the labor market and the concerns around it. But before I dive in further into that, I want to give an opportunity for my colleague to just say hello to the listening public and open up the discussions of where we're at.
Sure.
You know?
So good morning, Cayman Islands. Hope everybody's doing good, and it's so good to be here on Radio Cayman once again. And thank you, OC, for having us. It truly has been a pleasure so far. We've been pretty active. I mean, as you know, Parliament is on break for July and August, so we'll see some slow movements there, but I'm sure things will pick up in September, where we have various different issues that would have to be addressed and tabled for sure. But we've been busy, whether it's in a constituency office or having our little caucus and deciding, of course, how to move forward, how best to move forward, what ministries to address from each individual. So it's been pretty active, pretty overwhelming at the same time. As you know, I'm a new politician, so the learning the intricacies and the various different laws and various different parliamentary procedures have been educational, but also at the same time quite overwhelming. So I'm quite pleased and happy with my colleagues who have taken me under their wings. But again, it's good to be here. It's good, and I've been baptized with knowledge. I can honestly say that. And there's various different committees obviously also has been appointed to us, or that we're going to serve on, such as the HR committee, subcommittee when it comes to Parliament. But also I think our intentions as well is try to educate the public
what the purpose and obviously the mission is when it comes to the opposition, what our duties are. I don't think a lot of people understand that, and that is instrumental, especially in today's society, because I think a lot of people do see us as kind of nitpicking or something to that extent, and we're always going to draw on the negativity. But I think the more we educate, the more people is going to understand the purpose of
and the
opposition.
role, yes,
the roles, and so that's as important as well. And that's what we intend to do on this trail in the next 4 years: is educate, involve the public as much as possible, and try to ask them what they want from us as well. Because it's not about just us talking to them and us getting up and discussing and challenging the government, but also what they would like to see. How do they envision the opposition, and go from there. So again, thank you so much for having me.
And if you were to ask that question, what is it that you want? Many people will say, we want the government and the opposition to be able to work together. But then when you do that, when you say that, and we'd like to work together, then the retort usually is, well, when you were in government, you didn't do it. So what do you expect now? So some common ground has to be found somewhere. With that.
And that comes as a part of the territory. You're going to be there because there's sides. There's people who support the current government. There's people who support us, and the diehards of either side will say those things, and it's expected. But at the end of the day, we do have to at some point put down the swords and the weapons and work together and have discussion. And we are doing that, even though sometimes the public don't see that when we're in Parliament, behind committee meetings and so forth. As my colleague just said, there's a lot of parliamentary committees, subcommittees that deals with a number of different matters. There's also some allocations for some travels for the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association training and meetings for the region as well as globally. And I'm happy to say that I gotta give credit to my honorable member. She has been on a roll. She's gonna be a strong politician. I keep on saying that because she don't play meetings and updates and decisions. She's a doer. So Georgetown West has a strong representative in Miss Pearlina. She's coming in and making the older guys look a little bit slow. So I got to keep on my game with her. But she's doing an amazing job. So just talking about the two things, we went on the labor perspective earlier, but I think we want to discuss just for a minute or two and then listen to the public call in and ask questions. But what is our role in opposition? Once we've discussed that, I would then want to go back to the labor market component, because that's a concern. And there's one other matter we may discuss today, is that now that the official or organizational chart has been determined by the government, we have since met in opposition and gone over who will be responsible for what areas. Shadowing minister. Now we're not quite sure if we want to categorize it as shadow minister, because we're definitely not shadowing them. A person who's shadowing usually is in a positive way learning and ready for takeover. But and the other part is that shadow minister, you may have a portfolio under a particular minister that she may have one part of it and I may have the other. So it becomes quite difficult from a PR perspective to say, I'm the shadow minister to the Honorable Deputy Premier, but she's a shadow minister as well, because he may have two different portfolios that we separate. So we're going to go into the different categorizations of how we're going to term it for the public use. But I think this is a great opportunity, particularly for our Ms. Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, for her to talk about the areas that she will be shadowing for now, which primarily falls with the minister. I'll leave that to her.
And so what I've decided, by default, of course, because I had to yield to the more expertise or the ones that's more experienced in opposition. But mine is sports, youth, culture, social innovation, and they're very lengthy. Culture. And one thing that stood out for sure, OC, was gender affairs, for more than the obvious reasons. Yes, equality is one thing. But in addition to that, I think I want to raise the level and the interest of women in Parliament. That was so important to me. And not just from me ascertaining that, but also in speaking to past females. You know, the idea that Parliament can be separate and apart is one thing, but in addition to that, raising the profile of women in Parliament for sure. And so that was something of interest. And definitely NAU falls under that as well. And significant numbers of individuals, especially our voters, actually, not that there's something wrong with the system, but how they can best, try to how we can best rectify that going forward, because it's heavily relied on, OC. And so that was something that I really, really want to take on as well. Culture, for more than one reason. I definitely think that, not that our culture is not there, but it needs to be elevated to a whole different level. And how do we do that? How do we partake with regards to the stakeholders that are there to, not only just promote it, but have our youth get involved? Is that something that we need to start from an early age?
Plus, another challenge is ensuring that we retain our culture, that it isn't subsumed by others.
Yes. And you can see that's fallen away significantly. So that was as important as well. So I did decide that. And I think at the end of the day, like I said, it was something I was interested in, but I also had to yield to the more experienced individuals, and the bigger portfolios obviously will be handled for the experts like Kenneth, the deputy leader, and the leader himself, and Mrs. O'Connor and Dwayne, because they are the veterans. And so I'm there to learn as well. Not that this is the easiest, but I just thought something that I was interested in, something that I can elevate, something that I can assist, something I can offer my expertise on. And therefore, that's what I decided on that portfolio. And obviously that is Minister Isaac that's actually responsible for that portfolio.
Mr. Connor, obviously she's going to soften it a lot, but the role is going to be a very significant one. The Department of Financial Assistance is a significant one in today's day, and with a lot of new legislation that has been created, and the format upon which we help our people financially in need is a significant one, particularly when money is tight, if you got to say that. So she's going to have a significant role to watch, but also she's going to be overseeing the older persons legislation, child safeguarding, adoption board legislation, the K's Foundation, and the other parts that fall neatly within this package, because it was there before, is e-government, which does the national ID program that they were developing. And I was a former minister right after the government changed. It's now with Mr. Rankin, as Ms. Pearlina has said. And sports as well also falls under this. And sports is a key component for the development of our community and our kids and our national pride. So by all means, she may say the veterans, but she does have a major role. And I am confident with such high heights that she, for Minister Rankin, better tighten up your boots, buddy, because she is a person that will hold you accountable, and she holds me accountable quite often to say where we're at, what time is the meeting, why is these notes not done, that kind of thing. I really love it, actually. I think it's that boost of type of energy that you want in the commitment. So I'm looking forward to her work, and obviously it's always great to have a woman in charge of gender equality.
Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, if you, the Deputy Speaker, could also speak to, as in her role as Deputy Speaker, of course, she will fill in the absence of the Speaker, and, how much exposure will she get in terms of preparing for that role in the event that she has to sit in the chair, and whether or not any training is provided in that area, for her as well. With that, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy, and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, we have the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and also a parliamentarian and Deputy Speaker of our Parliament, Ms. Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. Folks, mic is yours.
Thank you so much, OC, and thank you again to the listening public, being mindful of time. We're here till 10 this morning, so I just want to ask our Honourable Deputy Speaker to kind of follow up on the last little bits of her area of responsibility. I know there's some focus points, but also the fact of her deputy speakership position and the opportunities that will come as a result of that. But the youth services is one of... my apologies.
That's okay.
Member.
But while you're looking into that, what I will say is thank you for the question, OC. I truly appreciate it. So the role of Deputy Speaker, more than anything, is to obviously chair debates and discussions in the absence of the Speaker. Right. That is the crucial thing I think one must understand, and parliamentary proceedings. Has that happened? No. Do they intend that it's going to be happening? I would imagine that they would. I think in the last... administration, Miss Barbara, when she actually chaired 2 parliamentary proceedings from my understanding. And the intention is Mr. Speaker has done a phenomenal job with trying to get me involved as much as possible, but not just from a parliamentary standpoint, but also he has ensured that I'm attending various different conferences lined up. That is going to educate and inform me what the role of Deputy Speaker and also get some experiences under my belt. That's key and crucial to the role of Deputy Speaker. In addition to that, I think there is a youth parliament, and it's something that I'll speak to the Speaker on with regards if I can also oversee that. And the more experience I get, the better I'm going to become at it, because one will never know what exactly this road is going to lead to. And so I think in addition to that, what he has planned to do is share the workload and managing of the complex settings that we have within Parliament. Parliament is a completely independent body. And I want the public to understand that it operates on its own rules and procedures. And also, I may have to oversee many proceedings from a discipline matter or something to that extent, but it hasn't gotten to that point as yet. So far, it's been really, really good. Has he kept me involved? Yes. I think the training obviously is going to take more than 2 months to understand the entirety of Parliament. and like I said, in addition to that, various subcommittees have also been appointed to, which is going to help tremendously.
I'm doing a good job already.
Yeah. So that, and obviously the conferences, which is going to elevate my level of expertise and knowledge when it comes to being the role, playing the role, or being in the role of Deputy Speaker.
Okay.
Mr. Connor, as we were outlining the areas of shadowing that the Honourable Member will be focused on, I forgot to mention the youth services, which is obviously a very important area, our young people in the future, which deals with the National Youth Commission. Talking about anything that involves youth and the positive in their lives, it's another key component for the area of shadowing for the member. I want to take this opportunity to say that what you're going to expect from the official opposition, particularly with new members, is that just quite like the government has done with its members of what areas of responsibility, we too intend to come and visit the location. So, for example, though I've been, elected, this is my third term now, I would like to call up the various departments to say, okay, this is the members selected by the official opposition to shadow this area. Can you give us the indulgence to allow us to tour the facility, get to meet who's in charge of it? Because, yes, we may not be officially cabinet-wise, but our job in Parliament is to ask the relevant questions about this area, find out who's in charge of it, all of those types of things. So we give the various department and agencies and units and committees our commitment that we are a government in waiting. So you can depend on us, because sometimes the civil servants need to know who is the other person to hold us accountable, or to hold the minister accountable, and build that relationship. So it will be, I intend to be writing the various different agencies, whether it's the Adoption Board, Computer Services, Department of Financial Assistance, the National Museum, Cultural Foundation, that falls under her shadowing responsibilities from opposition, and let her visit those locations so they can get to know this is the person that will be responding on the floor of Parliament in respect to matters that surround this area. So, for example, a new piece of amendment of a legislation for older persons, and the minister is going to get up and speak to it. From the official opposition, she will be the person to watch what that amendment is, analyze it, discuss it with the opposition, and speak from the opposition perspective what our position is. So she needs to be intimately involved in knowledge of the areas. And I think that involvement has to go further than just sitting from the back or sitting away from it.
But aren't you concerned about the optics of that, in terms of that, even though, it's just maybe just an introduction, of the shadow minister, but that contact between the parliamentarian and the civil servant, that they always want to ensure that, that is there. And wouldn't a written brief in terms of the various departments, the ministries, or whatever it is they do, their staffing levels, their organizational chart, and everything else? Because I can see some resistance coming, from appearing in, at a ministry, or and not unannounced, but announced. But I can see some pushback to that.
Well, obviously you would expect with me, I'm going to be outside the box. I think outside the box. I'm not going to do it the way everybody used to do it. And because you feel or think that there's going to be animosity, doesn't mean there has to be.
No, not animosity, just pushback. There'll be some pushback.
But the question is why? So I'm an elected member of Parliament, right? Forget about the responsibility shadow. I should have the right to be able to know exactly every single thing that's going on in this whole country in respect to governance and the civil service and statutory authorities. And I need to understand how it works, who's in charge of it, where is it located, what building structures they're in, because that's a part of my job. My job is to question about all things. We're just doing it in a structured way now as the official opposition to say, she needs to know what the Case Foundation is. How many workers are there? Who's the director? Can we take a little tour? How many kids are there? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because we're not saying that, she's in charge of it. What they need to know is there is a person on the opposite side of things that doesn't have the cabinet control, but from a parliamentary perspective, her constitutional responsibilities will be to monitor and assess.
So is there anything now that prevents you from doing that? You as a parliamentarian going to Children and Family Services.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
You just answered it. That's my point. There's nothing stopping us from doing that now.
So why do you need to formalize it then?
Because we wanted to do it in a structured way in the official opposition.
Okay.
So it gives a little bit of emphasis on how we're managing the official opposition. We just talked about the role of opposition. So the media calls and say, "Oh, I just see the press statement by the Honourable Minister for this." Don't call me as the deputy leader. Call the honourable member who is responsible for that area of responsibility. She will speak on our behalf. Now, the leader of opposition will speak on everything. That's his job or her job, whoever holding the position. But from an allocation perspective, it's quite similar. That's why we call it shadow government in waiting. Michael Miles, the Honourable Minister for Labour, don't speak on tourism. He says you can respond to the Minister of Tourism.
Precisely.
So we're structuring it that way over in the opposition to show that we are a government in waiting. And that's why we're going to expose it even further and showing people that we're committed. Because I want to say this, and this might be a bit controversial, but you don't know who supports us or who supports them. At the end of the day, all the civil servants, workers, statutory authority workers, all have to work for everybody, right? So you say there might be a pushback. Maybe there might be a push forward. So let's look at it in two different ways.
When you say push forward, you mean
very welcome.
People
they might support it. They might support it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry for my bad wording. Bad categorization of it. So, I mean, these are some of the type of changes that you're going to see in the official opposition. So sorry.
That's okay.
That you see in a structured way coming.
And I think one of the core purpose of a opposition is to hold the government accountable. And in order for us to do that, we need to know how all these systems... You have to have checks and balances, and you have to have also knowledge. Is that one way and the only way? Probably not. There are probably other different mechanisms of how we can learn that. Will there be pushback? Probably so. But in order for us to obviously highlight mismanagement, corruptions, not saying that it is happening, injustices, hold the government accountable when it comes to actions and spending, we need to know the intricacies of each department, how it works, how it operates, and so on and so forth. And granted, it could be a pushback. I can see it actually forthcoming. But like the members say, it could be also a push forward or something that they embrace in order for total transparency, which is where we're trying to get to total transparency.
Okay, so folks, we reached that time where we have to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation will continue with the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and Deputy Speaker and Parliamentarian, Honourable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. I want to remind you that we will let you know when the phone lines will be open, and when they are open, of course, the numbers will be the toll-free number 1-800-534-8255, also 949-8037, 949-6990, WhatsApp number 925-3261, which we encourage you to send questions or comments in advance as well. Please stay tuned. Talk today. For the record, we'll be back immediately after headline news.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. Cayman's international insurance sector continues to grow. New data from the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority shows 16 new licenses issued in the second quarter, bringing the year-to-date total to 21. Officials say the jurisdiction is on pace to surpass last year's numbers. In international headlines, a volcano in southwestern Iceland erupted overnight, leading to the evacuation of tourists from the famous Blue Lagoon geothermal spa, as well as nearby residents. Authorities continue to monitor the situation closely. In global politics, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a 50-day ultimatum for a ceasefire in Ukraine, threatening 100% tariffs on Russia if a peace deal is not reached. This marks a possible shift in U.S. policy amidst the ongoing conflict. And a tragic stampede at an aid distribution center in Gaza has left more than a dozen people dead. Humanitarian groups are calling for improved safety measures to prevent further loss of life. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, members of the opposition leader, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and Deputy Speaker and Parliamentarian, Honourable Miss Pearlina McGaw. One of our listeners has written and said the roles of shadow ministers are to develop alternative policies, hold the government to account for its actions and responses, and act as spokespeople for the opposition party in their own specific policy areas.
Correct.
Yeah.
That sums it up quite well. I think we were quite debating that yesterday about shadowing is usually seen in a positive light, like you're working as an apprentice underneath somebody. And it's not exactly apples to apples. It's more like apples to oranges in this case. So yes, we are monitoring that minister and what they're doing on behalf of the official opposition. So shadowing from a side to side, not shadowing from above and below perspective. But Mr. Connor, I do want to open up the phone lines for persons, because we want to hear from our public. We want to always be able to give the opportunity to answer any questions. But just before I go on to saying that, as you heard before the break, we are going to be doing things a little bit more structured in the official opposition, as well as the party, the PPM. And some of those types of things are the things I just outlined just now, whereby we're going to have members whose areas are their responsibility to go do tours at those various areas, get to fully understand how they all work, so we can be more prepared to respond, act on behalf of, deliver policy where we can on these various areas on behalf of the party. With that being said, you heard us outline what the areas for the Honourable Member McGaw-Lumsden. I'm just going to talk about some of the areas that I have, and we have not finalized all areas because we also have to consider the Honourable former Premier, Ms. Juliana Connor-Conling, who's unfortunately wasn't available yesterday to finalize the last little bits of allocation, as well as the Honourable Roy McTaggart was off island. So we did confirm some, and those are the ones I just said with Ms. Pearlina, but also a confirmed one for myself is obviously as former Minister for Tourism, I'll be shadowing the Honourable Deputy Premier for the tourism sector. And right now, the Honourable Deputy Premier is responsible for the Department of Tourism. Cayman Airways, Turtle Center, the National Attractions Authority, the Beautification Committee, Film Commission, Hotel Licensing Board, and Tourism Advisory Council. Interestingly enough, as the Deputy Premier, that's a very small subject area and portfolio. I mean, they've taken away the Airports Authority from him, the Port Authority. I mean, when I was there, I had Port Authority, Airports Authority, as well as social development, e-government, and so forth. So I'm not sure why his portfolio is so small, and particularly with the Department of Tourism being run by the amazing director, Ms. Rosa Harris. She basically runs that place herself. So I'm not sure what amount of work is there for the Deputy Premier. I won't go any further than that, but I think they've really gotten a small section. I'll send you the details there, but there's not much he's got going on there. Anyway, I'll cover that. Also, I'm considering some other areas that fall with some other ministers would be under me, but I want to wait till we finalize that with the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Joseph Hugh. So with that being said, you can see that we're trying to be more structured as the official opposition moving forward, and you'll be hearing more from us. We intend to be here as often as we possibly can, and now that we have some pathways and also know that we're planning for September, we're developing some motions, and obviously a lot of questions are ready because we don't have an SPS. We don't know where we're going. So the questions continue to come, and normally you would get all those answers in the SPS. So September is going to be a rather interesting sitting. We're all developing that, and you'll see some stuff going to Parliament soon. With that being said, I think we would love to hear from the listening public. What do you want to hear from us? What do you want to see from us? We're going through an interesting stage of reflection with the public because we have to develop this party, this opposition, to be the actual government in waiting to one day be the government. And the only how we can do that is by hearing from you. So we're willing to hear from the public.
Okay. Until the calls come in, I have a question.
Yes.
And people continue now to sort of echo the sentiments that it was quite obvious that the two parties, the other two parties, wanted to ensure that the progressives did not form the government.
Yes.
There are persons, whether or not they're supporters or otherwise, who express the same sentiments. What does the party plan to do to overcome that, not only the perception, but the fact that it has occurred in two consecutive elections?
I think I'll take that question.
You better.
You are 100% right to ask that question, Mr. Connor. And this is why you probably heard me say it numerous times. We want to know where we went wrong. And I think I said this on another media house where myself and the Honorable Leader was on there and asked them where the party is going. I said, yes, we won the majority of any one party, but with 7 PPM members winning their seats. That's greater than any other group because both of them all had 4, but we did not make 10. And I consider that as a failure. And as you know, I came back to the Progressives just before the election. And I believe that with the new energy, good people like the Honorable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, the Honorable Roy Tatum, to support the leader, the Honorable Joseph Hugh and Roy McTaggart, and having the good guidance of seniors like Ms. Juliana Connor-Conley and Mr. Dwayne Seymour, that we can reshape, reform, and regenerate our way moving forward. Particularly by education and involvement with the public, letting them understand what we're about, and build out the People's Progressive Movement over time. There is members that we already have identified for different constituencies, and some of those will eventually come out in public. Some of those are working hard behind the scenes, learning exactly what we're doing now. saying what areas of focus would you like. You need to start learning it. Read the legislation, read the regulation. Don't be afraid to write pieces in the paper because when you come out, you want to be a known commodity that understands that. So there is a number of other things that we're doing, like the youth arm, our women's arm. And matter of fact, the Honorable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden already had a meeting this weekend, I remember.
Yes, we surely did. We surely did. We had a meeting this week pertaining to the women's arm because, I'm sorry, women are the foundation and women are going to be the ones that push the politics in this country so much further than what they are. And so we had that committee meeting. Now we're going to branch out to various different districts and try to establish, like the leader, the deputy leader has said, trying to find good electable candidates. And like I said previously, trying to get women involved from a leadership standpoint as well. Because believe it or not, people think politics is all that, but it can be brutal at times for so many different reasons. And one is not very keen in going into that area. So I think the PPM have a lot of work to do, but I think two of the things that's going to be instrumental, not just educating the public when it comes to the importance of not voting straight, but voting party lines. It's important we understand that because now we're seeing the effects of this and how crippling it can be at times. But in addition to that, the youth arm is also going to be instrumental, extremely instrumental. Go ahead.
We have a call on the WhatsApp number.
Sure,
you want to grab the caller now? Let's go to the phone lines. WhatsApp number. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Good morning, caller.
And good morning to Deputy Leader Opposition Kenneth, Bryan, and to a member of the Assembly, Ms. Pearlina.
Good morning,
sir. Good morning.
Yes, well, this government that is in now, they seem to be serious about helping Caymanians. And if they continue to do so by putting Caymanians first throughout this next 4 years, there's a possibility of them becoming the government again in the next election. But as the opposition, you all do not need the power by being the government to bring things to the floor of the House. For things that need to be done for the Caymanian people. And once you all do that, then you all are still doing what the people hired you for to do.
Correct. Good assessment,
Thank you very much.
caller. Thank you, caller. Mr. Connor, I'll just quickly say that the caller is right. I mean, if this government succeeds over the next 4 years, they may just be reelected. And I don't see that as a failure. I actually see that as a success because that means they're doing something right for our people. I never tried to, and I don't think we ever in the opposition ever want to just win just because they're doing bad. I mean, if they were to be reelected because they've been so successful with the last 4 years, that means the lives of the Caymanian people are better. Why you are considered a government in waiting is if they fail, you know you have a safety net there, and we're going to prove that we could be better. So you may be at a level 7, but if you have a government in waiting, it could be a level 9, then obviously it's the people's choice. And we respect that. We want the government to succeed because the people will succeed. And we'll continue to do that and present ourselves. There may be a lot of agreeing with the government over the next 4 years. But we have to be prepared in the event that they don't succeed, and that's a part of being an official opposition as well.
Okay.
And our job, I think I want to say to the caller as well, is not to hinder. but to just be there to obviously provide whatever mechanisms, whether there's alternative ways of doing things as well, because we have to remember our job isn't to hinder. Our job is to obviously be the best opposition that we can probably be, but for the best interest of our Caymanians, of course. That's always at the forefront of all of us.
Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, one of our listeners wanted to know from you, Mr. Bryan, what is going to happen with the port and the airport plans, as well.
Okay.
So I guess you'll have to look into your crystal ball. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, and Deputy Speaker of our Parliament, Ms. Pearlina McGaw. We have a caller on the landline on hold. We just want to give Mr. Bryan an opportunity to answer the last question that was posed before we went to the commercial break. Then we will take the caller.
Thank you again, Mr. Connor. I think the question was what will happen now with the port and the cruise port and the airport.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think I'll just deal with the airport because that one's probably a little bit more simpler. Where it was left when I left the ministerial position was that the public consultation into the runway extension is being done. They've had a few meetings thus far talking to the public about the EIA, the impacts on the surrounding areas, the importance of it, getting feedback as a part of the EIA assessment process. Whether the government, by way of policy, will continue or try to stop it, because it's already been in action, it's already been agreed from previous governments and kind of halfway down the road and money allocated for it. Whether they will change the position or the review of the public consultation will alter the policy direction in respect to the airport, that's really left to be seen by the government and whoever the minister is. I haven't been given any indication or any reason to believe that they're altering that direction, but the Honourable Minister J.E. Banks now is in charge of the airport. As for the seaport being the cruise pier, I'm not sure if the question was about the cruise component, because there is also the other part that nobody really talks about is the cargo facility, which is a matter that will soon hit us in the face. When I did the report last, talking about the population growth and the space that is slowly being eaten up at the current port facility, and that over time we're not going to have enough space to import at the rate that we need to supply the population that we have. But that's a bigger question. I haven't heard anything from the administration thus far. That's why we're waiting for the SPS to hear the policy directions in respect to that. As per the cruise pier, I think the people have made their voice clear. I don't intend to dwell any further. I do believe in referendums. I do believe that people should be given their chance to have their say, and they have spoken about the cruise pier. I don't think I don't have to dwell on that anymore. But now to figure out, okay, without a cruise pier, how does the market look, and how do we assist those stakeholders who depend on the industry to survive?
Yep. Okay, so we're going to grab the caller on the landline. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.T.
Hey, morning. How are you?
Morning, Mr. Bryan. Morning, Miss Pearlina.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. McKeever.
Yeah, you've been elected 8 years now, right?
That's right, sir.
Yeah, Miss Pearlina, just get your Mr. Joe, you've been there about 16 or more, right?
12.
Joey?
Yes.
Joe, you only been there 12 years?
Mine is 12 minutes and his is 12 years.
No, Joey been there more than 12 years.
This will be the 16th. Once he completes this term, it'll be 16 years.
Okay,
so
good.
You're including this term.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, I guess you all live in Cayman like me.
Right.
Right, hopefully. I mean, you guys see through different eyes than me, but only will agree with me that I've been preaching about the marine laws that we had in place. Check 30-odd years ago, the population, right, that we had 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the Caymanian could get 20 conchs and 12 officers, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of our elected members with all their infinite wisdom, instead of they protecting it, you know what they kept doing? Watering it down, hurting the Caymanians. We have a government that, this is a different government, no, praise the Lord. Not one member from the PPM not would say say, look here, we have to protect the fishing for the Caymanians. We have to protect the jobs. No, this government, and just by the two things they're doing with the immigration reform, seriously, the minimum wage, and the protection of the marine, the fishery for the local indigenous Caymanian, let me tell you something. That is putting them on a streak, a serious streak to get re-elected and hold down the government. Because you hear what Minister Miles say? All of the road contractors, the road business people that blatantly breaking our laws and nothing to be done with it. I said the same thing because I campaign. Don't give them no work permit. Take away their license. If you are driving recklessly on the road and drunk on the road, what does the court do? Take away your license. So it should be the same thing with business. If you're a rogue employee, a rogue business person, you should have no rights to get a Caymanian born, bread, or paper to hold no business in Cayman Island. So, this one I ask you now, Minister Bryan and Ms. Pearlina, when the motion comes about the immigration thing and the marine thing there, will you guys be supporting it, or you just gonna go there and sing chin music and try to water it down? Thank you. Answer the question.
Thank you so much, Mr. McKeever. I think there's a little bit of politics in your tone there, which I respect. I have to accept your position. I don't necessarily agree with you that the progressives didn't want to protect anything. I'm definitely going to do some research so I can rebut your position the next time we speak to it. Because matter of fact, the progressives were the one who put in the most protections to the marine environment in any administration across Cayman's history. Most of the marine parks, matter of fact, if you would recall, the Honorable Wayne Panton, who is the biggest environmentalist ever politically in the Cayman Islands, was a part of the PPM government before. So I think you're wrong in your assessment there. The second point I'll say is we cannot speak to a piece of legislation that has not been presented yet, because you have to be diligent and find out what the details of any proposal is. Naturally, we support protection of our fishery. It's been overfished. So in the broader terms, we will support that. In respect to immigration reforms, anything to protect Caymanians' economic opportunities and their rights to their country, we will support that as well. But the devil is in the detail. And we're still waiting to hear what the detail of the bill would be and what it says, because any variation in a small word, in a small sentence, can have a various different interpretations. So we've always said thus far, we support the government's position to reform immigration. Exactly how that reform looks is going to be a bigger question. Now, I'll also say that, yes, the government has been successful to execute some very low-hanging fruit. But I have to highlight the fact that those two low-hanging fruit that have outlined thus far, which is the minimum wage, was done by the last administration by way of the report and the recommendation. Unfortunately, the last administration could not come to consensus to deliver what the report recommendations are. Now, they should be given credit as a mature government to say we have come to a consensus and have accepted the minimum wage requirement. But that didn't even seem to be the situation just before my question came to Parliament, because before that, there wasn't an agreement until I started to pressure the situation. But we're not going to get into the politics. So that's one success. The other one is the immigration reform on civil servants' rollover for non-Caymanians. Again, that report was done by the past administration. There's just perfect timing for them to just execute low-hanging fruit to just deliver. The 6 months of research that the civil service had to do on the negative effects of such a policy was done by the legwork of the last administration, which I was a part of. So I just want to put things into context as to the successes thus far. They have to be given credit for executing, but the legwork was done in the last administration. And the last point about the marine environment, interestingly enough, that was also something we wanted to do in the last administration, but with our legal advice from the Attorney General's office was that it would be discriminatory to have it illegal for non-Caymanians to fish in. So I'm looking forward to that debate to find out what legal advice they have gotten now. Has that position changed? Because I can remember the Honorable Bernie Bush, who was a strong advocate for that change, and we fought really hard, but we were advised that it would be difficult to execute. Matter of fact, at one point we did have it where it was only for Caymanians.
So difficult or impossible? Which one?
I'm only going. I'm not a lawyer, so we take our legal guidance from the Attorney General.
Because there's a difference between difficulty and not possible altogether.
Mr. Connor, that's a valid point that you just made, which is, are we willing to take on the fight? And it seems now that they weren't willing to take it on before, and I'm talking about the legal advisors here, but they're now willing to do so. So they have some questions to answer, but I think...
But I also want to obviously educate the public, because it's important. The question is asked, but a lot of people don't understand the question of what is being referred to. And if I can stand corrected, are we talking about with regards to cabinet now banning non-Caymanians for fishing? Is that was that his question that was posed?
Yes.
Okay, so is that a cabinet, and correct me if I'm, please guide me accordingly.
Yeah.
Cabinet, or that has to be...
Has to come to Parliament.
It has to come to Parliament.
Okay. Cabinet has approved,
taking
drafting
it
of
forward.
legislation, moving it forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So interesting point there. A very good point. I'll be quick, and because I know they're going to calls. The cabinet has only agreed to ask the legal drafters to come up with some legislation to deliver that. That doesn't mean they're going to come up with it, because when we wanted the same thing, the argument was that would be difficult to impose from a constitutional perspective, and that it would be discriminatory to non-Caymanians and their constitutional rights and all that, which is a bunch of nonsense in my mind. You're right. It's about whether we're willing to fight for it. So again, the government may be given credit for that, to say, you know what, AG or not AG, but any legal guidance, I don't care about that. We got to protect it. It's for Caymanians. And so having the oomph to go forward from that perspective. But I can tell you, and the 6 members that are part of the government now that was a part of the government before can confirm that we wanted to do that, and we were legally given advice that we wouldn't be able to do it, and that it would be very difficult. So I'm looking forward to the debate.
Okay. Before we go to a commercial break, I just want to clarify. So here's the press release issued yesterday. The Cayman Islands government has approved developing new legislation that would prohibit non-Caymanians from harvesting any marine life from Cayman's waters, with limited exceptions for regulated catch and release fishing. This proposal forms part of a broader effort to protect marine biodiversity and preserve fishing resources for Caymanians. Now, when I read this yesterday, I voiced my concern because I felt very upbeat, about that. And there's a caveat. There's a caveat along the way in all of this as well. It also goes on to say, trying to find that as well, that why don't we go to the commercial break and I'll find it and then share it when we return. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superhero shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So I found what I wanted. So the first part of the press release spoke about the fact that the government has approved developing new legislation that would prohibit non-Caymanians from harvesting any marine life from Cayman's waters with limited exception for regulated catch and release fishing. This proposal forms part of a broader effort to protect marine biodiversity and preserve fishing resources for Caymanians. And like I said yesterday, I was upbeat about that. Now, there's a caveat at the last part of the press release. And it reads, and I'm reading it verbatim, the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability will begin a consultation period. And final regulations, there's a little typo there because it says consultation period and period, but I'm not sure, so I'm thinking that they put period twice. And final regulations may differ from initial proposals. Once internal consultations have been completed, implementation would only occur after the necessary work is completed and following a public consultation period and legislative approval. And I accept that, while you've said what you want to do, what the objective is, that, what comes out, in the wash at the end of the day may be different. I hope it isn't significantly different than what is being proposed as well.
Mr. Connor, I think my mic is down. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Connor, I think that sums it up right there, exactly what is happening, because it goes back to what I said before the break. Obviously, there was the legal guidance was that it would either be very, very difficult or impossible, or you'd have to find a different mechanism to do that. And I think that caveat at the end of the press release there is basically safeguarding to say, listen, this is my way you want, but after drafting and looking at it in public consultation, it may not even happen. So not that I don't want it to happen, I want that to happen. I push for that. I think Caymanians should be the only one harvesting off of our natural resources. Matter of fact, if you think about this, there's another way to attack this, You're supposed to be able to show where you can provide for yourself to feed yourself as a work permit holder. You're not supposed to be, you can't go into people's land and go steal their mangoes to feed yourself. It's no different. The land and the sea, you're not supposed to be touching that because that's a resource and that's technically stealing. So I support the position. Is the thing, here's one of the biggest problems that we have, is that politicians may want to do things and the legal advice says something different. And I'm telling you this right now, and the Attorney General's office can hear me clearly, because I will be challenging them for the next 4 years. Because a lot of the things what we didn't get done is because they said, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And you're right. The willingness to do things is a question. We had one case in court the other day challenging a position, and they pulled back the case. I'm looking forward now for the red spot. They're going to probably pull that case too soon to say that we're challenging that that's supposed to be for Caymanians. Anyway, I'll stop there.
Okay, we have a caller, but I also have a WhatsApp message, and I'm going to read it verbatim again. This person says, good morning, OC and the opposition guest. Why is the opposition deputy leader trying so hard to become shadow ministers? And when they were in power, they didn't have that on their agenda. Well, we can talk about that in terms of if you were in power, then you don't need a shadow. But you can speak to that. Also, why is he being so sarcastic in his remarks against the current Minister of Tourism's workload? There's a lot of work to be done in tourism that was there all through Kenneth Bryan's tenure that the current Minister of Tourism needs to clean up. And if he can do that, he has a big ministry load. Comments?
I'm sorry if it came off sarcastic, but it's a fact. His workload is a lot less. They've taken away a lot of major responsibility. But I get it. I mean, that's obviously somebody who supports him. I mean, I'm hoping that he's going to be successful in tourism. My job is to hold him accountable in his position, and let's see. We got 4 years to do so, and I respect the author of that message. As per the first one, there was no shadow. I was in government, so there was nothing to shadow. That would have been the official opposition before that. Yeah.
And it would be up to them to decide, what they wanted to do that.
Yes.
Let's go to the phone line.
Were you addressing shadow minister?
They were just saying, well, why didn't I have a shadow minister before? I was like, but I was a minister.
I thought, okay.
Okay, let's go to the WhatsApp caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, and good morning, Miss Pearlina.
Good morning. Good morning. Your English sounds so great. Where did you learn it?
Okay, Trump.
I was waiting for you to call in so I could use that phrase.
Well, I will take the compliment, but I know exactly why you were saying that.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing? Long time not hear your voice, man. How are you?
I am good. You know, Minister. Well, I'm still used to calling you Minister, but because you are still a leader, Honorable, I'm not calling as much, but I'm still listening. For example, I listened to you on Tammy's show, and I think you were saying that it was not very clear whether some of the things the minister was saying were actually approved by cabinet, which is part of the reason I'm calling. One, first of all, I think of all human beings, all members of parliament, recent members of parliament and current members, the one member that has the greatest credibility in the Cayman Islands on the immigration issue is somebody called Kenneth Bryan. Because you started saying this a long time ago. You even put up a sign one time, you know, just to add color to the thing and so on. And people were, in fact, opposing you. Even the motion that you brought in the House some time back, where you asked for very little, you said, well, how about if we make just the heads and deputy heads of department in all government institutions to be Caymanian? They couldn't support you even about that. And now today, they are now saying, well, they are going to have some jobs for Caymanians, which are in government, like executive officers and so on and so forth. One, the problem is these things could have been done a long time ago.
Yes.
Two,
Yes.
there's also the issue about the legal. I am really grateful to hear you say that you are going to be challenging them on the legal side, because I've said for a long time that a lot of the legal advice that comes from the AG's chambers sometimes can be suspected to being incorrect. Some of it I know for a fact is totally incorrect. For example, about that whole issue about 10 years that, you know, people have to be given credibility, residency or permanency, 10 years. Look at what they have done in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, they have enacted the most strict immigration legislation, especially around asylum seekers. And what they have said is that it is because it has been abused. And you know what they have done also? When they were told that, well, but this might violate European standards on human rights, they have said, we understand that, and we will ask the European Union to give us an exemption on the basis of our particular circumstances. That is an argument I started making in relation to the government in the Cayman Islands a long time ago.
Yes.
And let me close on how the rollout has been. The rollout has been very poor on this matter. Mm-hmm. The Premier got up and said a few things. And there were so many things which were not clear right off the bat. What you try to do in such matters is that when you first make your big announcement, you must have clarity on the important issues. He didn't clarify at that time whether, in fact, it would apply to people who are already in Cayman right now. And talking about legal advice, apparently somebody has advised them that if you apply it to people who are here now, that will be retrospective. That is actual nonsense. Yeah. That is not retrospective as a matter of law. I can give you 5, 6 privy council cases which say that is not retrospective. So at the end of the day, all we can say is that some things are being done. I think people should be very careful to ensure that they don't assume that a lot of these are going to work the way they are saying they are going to work. I think, to me, I would be listening more to the opposition at this point in time, because I like what you have been raising, like in terms of seeking clarity and seeking certain things to be clarified. Finally, I think there's need for targets to be established about immigration.
Yes.
Mr. Denny Warren Jr. has suggested for a very, very long time, he has said, why don't we ensure that we don't give more status than the net gain in population among indigenous Caymanians? Because unless you do that, you might reduce the numbers, but still your numbers will keep going down until you're down to 4 or 5%. Let me stop there. I thank you for the time.
Thank you very much,
Sam.
callers.
Thank you.
We're going to go to a commercial break, but before I go there, I just want to read one WhatsApp message that came in really early. The person says that they would like to know what's the difference between the two parties in the UK. You have the Conservatives and Labour, and of course you have there are sometimes other smaller parties as well. And in the US you have Republicans and Democrats. So they want to know what's the difference. Well, we actually have 3 parties here. Now, whether or not some of them are still in existence after the elections, I'm not sure, but maybe you can tell us something about that as well. When we return, we have one caller on hold. We will take that caller, and we will probably have less than 12 minutes to go in the show. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. We're going to take our last caller because we want to give our guest, the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, and the Deputy Speaker of our Parliament, Honourable Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, an opportunity for some closing comments. So we're going to take our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C., and your guest there.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I want to find out why, when it's something pertaining to expats, that it always a resistance when we don't go, try to put laws in place to protect him and benefits like the fishing right name. Now it's a problem. When it was attacked against expats, it was resistant. But when it comes to us, they just pass these things and we have no say. You know, because look how long the past group of this and group of that, we can't catch none. They're taking all away, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm tired of this now.
You're right, caller.
I think that the AG and the environment director, them post to be election, run for it.
Mm.
We can't have people in there a lifetime and then doing things against us all the way. No, there should be change. And I hope to bring something against that they have to run for election to get voted for
the Attorney General. That's a good point, you know.
Yeah.
Caller, thank you so much. I think what little he said, but what a mouthful. Mm-hmm. You're so right. It seems that whenever it's time to protect Caymanians, there's always some hurdle in the way constitutionally or human rights this and human rights that, which obviously we respect, but it just seems always to be in the way for us, but not in the way for anybody else. I am committed to putting the necessary pressure and challenge and not be afraid to highlight these points. I respect the Attorney General and his office, but you got to be more clear about some of these things. And you're right, the election of some posts. The question that worries me, and I don't want this to be a reflection of the current Attorney General, but once they're appointed, that's it. You can't remove them and you can't change them. And I think there should be at least a term limit on how long an Attorney General can be in that post, because the interesting structure upon which the post holder operates is weird, because they're there to advise the governor. They're there to advise the cabinet as well. But when they're in conflict of each other, whose side are you on?
Well, I mean, would say that while the position of Attorney General remains a civil service position, it's going to be difficult to make those changes because he's there to dispense advice.
Yeah.
And and that advice should be impartial at all
Correct.
times. Because at the end of the day, he has to turn around and defend you in the event of it.
Correct.
Now, if we were to change our constitution in such a way that the Attorney General's position, like, say, in Bermuda, right? An elected member of Parliament can be your Attorney General.
Yeah. I think we have a lot to talk about. As a matter of fact, that's a good way to segue into what constitutional reflections and reforms we need to have within this 4-year period. Because when you're doing them, you want to do them piecemeal. You want to do a collective bunch of changes if there needs to be changes. And I think that's something we need to examine. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure I say this clearly. This, by all means, is no attack or a reflection on specifically the Attorney General himself, but the office of the Attorney General, because collectively is what the advice comes from a group of lawyers giving that legal advice. So Mr. Samuel Bulgen is a friend of mine. I don't want him to think I'm picking on him today, but I do have to do my job. I respect him tremendously. But there is discrepancies that the public see that they go, hold on for a minute, this isn't right. So there needs to be more clarity. And again, I do wish the government and the cabinet minister who tries to do the restriction and harvesting of our marine life success with this, and they will have our support. I'm just interested to hear what the legal advice is going to tell them, because we were told something different. So
if I could chime in on that, I think, there's an out, and I'm no lawyer, no legal advisor or anything else, but, I know a lot about our Constitution. In our Bill of Rights, Section 18. Protection of the environment. And when this was done, he was not Sir Jeffrey Joel at that time, but we knew him as Professor Jeffrey Joel, pointed out that the Cayman Islands Constitution was probably one of the first in the world that he was aware of, that had provisions in our Constitution protecting our environment. Since then, we have seen other overseas territories adopt similar measures. But here's what it says. Government shall, in all its decisions, have due regard to the need to foster and protect an environment that is not harmful to the health or well-being of present and future generations, while promoting justifiable economic and social development. To this end, government should adopt reasonable legislative and other measures to protect the heritage and wildlife and the land and sea biodiversity of the Cayman Islands that A, limit pollution and ecological degradation, B, promote conservation and biodiversity, and C, secure ecologically sustainable development and use of natural resources. There is our support right there.
I would add to that. You are 100% right. Very detailed outline of an area we can use for support our legal argument from a constitutional perspective. But the argument that was put to us as it being discriminatory, the Constitution also says that there is one way that we can be discriminatory. There's only one provision. And that was for immigration purposes. And what the intent here is an immigration matter. Non-Caymanians cannot harvest. So the discrimination against the person is because of their status position in this country. And the Constitution gives way for that. And I ask you, the next time the good Dr. Steve Macfield come on to explain that part in the Constitution where it gives a sacred position. There's only one place you can discriminate on, and it's on immigration-related matters because of the protections necessary.
But there are other areas in Cayman that we say, for instance, that only Caymanians can participate. Look at our trade and business licensing, right? You can't get a trade and business license unless you possess Caymanian status. So we say, in order for you to fish, you have to get a license. But you can only get a license if you're Caymanian.
Well, I must admit this, that one, you want to order for you to fish out the Cayman.
Yeah.
So they said to us that, and the advice that we got was that you have to do it in the reverse, whereby everybody has to get a license, but the only people who can get license is Caymanians.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying that non-Caymanians can't fish in, because then you're highlighting them or targeting them, and that's where the discriminatory manner may come in. So I wonder if the public is going to respond if that's the way they solve this problem, is to say, okay, nobody can fish in without a license.
And get that license only if you're Caymanian.
And get a license only if you're Cayman. So that means my good friend Spellman down the back now, my good friend in Central, Spellman Markfield, will have to go and sign up to say, I need a license to fish. And you know what the Cayman's going to say? I know you're not telling me I need no license to go fishing in this country. This is my land.
Well, it depends on how you sell it, because
that's
the only way to protect it.
But anyway,
like Billy said, I'm sure that there are cases there, case law that you could look at to see how you get around it. Of course, we have the lawyer right here in the room with us.
Well, we support it. That's the most important thing.
I think so. Absolutely.
Closing comments. We have about 4 minutes left. Huh?
No closing comments. I think we've covered quite a lot, more than I anticipated. But I really appreciate being here, OC. I think, like I said, it's also a learning process for me, and we're learning so much. And the callers that do call, not only they're passionate, they're well informed, and that's so good to see from an elective individual. But again, thank you so much. Thank you to the callers who have called in. We appreciate every single question, and your job is to be informed and to pose the questions to us. Sometimes we may not have the answers, and that's okay. It is our job then to research and to get back to them, and we will do that diligently. So thank you so much for taking the time. Everybody have a good day and be safe.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome job, by the way. I just want to say thank you again for allowing us to be on the show. Next week, Wednesday, it may be 2 other members or one of us here. We're trying to make a concerted effort to be here as often as we possibly can.
And I understand it's the summer, people are going to be on holiday.
On holiday and stuff,
yeah. Even I will take a holiday at some point.
Exactly. I hope you do, because you've been working a whole lot. The honorable leader will indicate to you as soon as practical who will be coming on next. And please remind everybody, please stay tuned for the record here every Wednesday to hear from your official opposition as we represent you in the best way we know how. May God bless each and every one of you and have a wonderful and supportive and successful day. God bless.
Okay, and I want to take this opportunity also to wish Mr. Jaron Leslie, the chair of the Business Staffing Plan Board. He's celebrating his birthday today, so we want to give Mr. Jaron Leslie a big shout out. Happy birthday to him today as well. And he is so committed that because we had made commitments in terms of the meeting today, he's going to be at that meeting, on his birthday, as opposed to,
congratulations and happy birthday, brother.
Yes. Okay, folks. So I want to thank all of you who participated as well. Let me remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are. And I encourage you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to Worthy Charge It, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks sorry, folks. Join Mr. Charles Glidden, Charlo, at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Caymans. That's what happens when you recite things.
Bring him back home.
Have a great day, folks.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flight.